Hey guys, how's it going? Comparing here. So there has been some talk about the next expansion Hearthstone is going to get, and of course, Hearthstone's a game that is going to get expansions on a regular basis. And the first piece of evidence for the next was recently released, and people are talking about it. And I thought I'd give you guys my take on what's going on, as I've been playing, Blizzard games, Warcraft games since they've been out. And I've done a pretty good job, hopefully, of summarizing the opinions of those that have already voiced theirs. And I think you guys would enjoy my take on this, because I think, even though I don't have any ties to Blizzard in regard to what might come in terms of expansions or really any of that stuff at all, I think I have a pretty good understanding of what we may get in the future here. So what am I talking about? So PC Gamer came out with some kind of video because they released like a package, and it was what you guys can see there. It was like kind of like a canister, cylindrical cardboard thing, and it's got like, some themed thing. It's like a royal scroll, and inside was actually a scroll, and it says, "Well met, hero. Champions are gathering from around the world to witness the next exciting thing Hearthstone has in store. News travels far and wide in search of brave new faces ready to answer the call to arms. Are you one of them? Muster for battle and mark July 22nd on your calendar." The next bit of news won't come by carrier pigeon. Thankfully, we have much better ways of communication now. Victory awaits, and then we have the Hearthstone symbol and the Blizzard thing, and it's all fancy and epic and all that kind of shit. So, there's a lot of talk about what this is, and generally the consensus I think is correct. It has to do with the Argent tournament stuff. The Argent tournament, the Call of the Crusade, was a patch in World of Warcraft, as you can see there, and it's themed based on the Argent dudes. They want to form together, have a tournament, and rally up, and then fight against the Lich King at a later time, which then they did in the next expansion in World of Warcraft. And you can kind of see a lot of the similarities in terms of like the feel of the text from this is basically the patch from World of Warcraft that they had several years ago, which I played and loved, by the way. This is like before this was Uldor, after this was Icecrown. This was like the height of World of Warcraft for me. I know people had different heights in that game, so I'm very well versed with this type of stuff. I played the shit out of World of Warcraft during this time. If you don't believe me, you can check out basically my earliest YouTube videos, because that's what they were. So in Call of the Crusade, they talk about Northern Icecrown. You get the idea. They got to beat up the Lich King and that kind of stuff. So, this leads into a lot of questions, and more importantly, what we can actually expect from this type of content when it's shifted over to Hearthstone. So, there's a little bit of discussion with the criticism of all these facts already. So let's just go over that. So also another little piece of evidence that's pretty nice is when these guys opened the canister, there was like a trumpet sound, and originally we had thought that maybe they just like added that in the video for some kind of effect, but no, that's actually part of the canister that Blizzard sent out to PC Gamer, because I found another video where some guy just opens and it's exactly the same thing. They got exactly the same scroll and exactly the same canister, and when you take the lid off, it makes the trumpet sound. So it is really kind of pushing for that Argent Crusade theme. Someone thought that in GVG, when GVG was about to come out, Blizzard sent to all these different like media places pieces of like demolisher parts and like bombs, like a varied thing, and everyone got different things. So someone on Reddit thought that maybe someone just got the paladin version of it, but that doesn't seem like it is the case here, and because of that, that's why we come to the conclusion that it is the Argent tournament related stuff. Also, Reddit seems to think this is just a big hype for the new paladin hero skin. It's probably not that. If it is that, it will be like, there will be riots, okay? And another suggestion why it's not that is on exactly the same date last year in 2014, July 22nd, Nax Ramus was released in Hearthstone. So it seems to be maybe like an annual cycle of expansions, and well, that's a pretty interesting thing. So, what's really going on here? A lot of people think that this suggests that there's going to be like a Death Knight class. You know, mention that it's in red color, the text, the style. It's got the flowers. The flowers are like the death and decay, the Death Knight symbols, that kind of stuff. And I can kind of get that, but I really don't think a new class is really enough content for like an actual expansion. It's just like kind of cool, but you got to do more than that. You can't just like make a new class, give that class a few cards, and that's it. Because, people will want to play their own class. People want to play their own decks. They want that part of their game to improve a little bit. So it's kind of unlikely that will be the only content that they will launch. So what type of content can we expect? So I would argue that we are probably the one thing that I'm quite sure about in the guesswork of things that we are probably not going to see a GVG like expansion because it takes a lot of development time to make that many new cards. And I don't think Hearthstone in its current state is really ready to absorb another like 130 cards or whatever that expansion was. While Hearthstone does need more cards, okay, it does need more cards. I just think the systems in the game don't really allow for it. You know, right now, new players are already struggling to get the classic packs because a lot of them are trying to farm through Arena, and Arena only awards GVG packs, and they have like all the GVG cards. And the new player experience will be like further away from what people want, from what Blizzard probably wants, because they want to attract new players. They want to gather a lot of people. They want people to play their game that haven't played their game before. So there's a lot of other obstacles to overcome when it comes to releasing just a block of cards. Also, we had Naxxramas, we had GVG, we had Black Rock Mountain. Even though it kind of makes sense, like there might be this type of expansion here, I feel like it will be a new type. While I don't think it'll be a GVG style expansion, I also don't think it will be a PvE encounter type of expansion. The rule set seems to be that, we have like a PvE expansion like Naxxramas, like Black Rock Mountain, and then we have something else in between. And I think to have like a huge batch of cards in between each one of these is going to be really hard to maintain, and it's just going to be kind of hard to really make the game sustainable in that sense. So I think what we will see is a new type of content expansion. What that might be, I'll guess a little bit at it, but in the end, I don't really know. I just think that because the Trial of Grand Crusader in World of Warcraft was, people just generally having fun playing like a slightly different type of gameplay, a slightly different way to do like daily quests. And yeah, that's largely what it was. It was just a really cool questing system. It had really cool like 5-man dungeons. It was a way where you could very easily get like good loot. So, and this was all in preparation for like Ice Crown and the Lich King, and that's really like the Death Knighty stuff. So, I think it's possible. I think, eventually Hearthstone's going to get a Death Knight class. It might be this expansion, but it might not be. I think that after this Argent tournament styled expansion, we will see the Ice Crown, because it's kind of like the lead in. You can't really have just the Argent tournament. It's just kind of lame. So, I mean, it was kind of lame in World of Warcraft, by the way. So, it has to lead into the Ice Crown, and I think it would be a real shame if Ice Crown was not introduced as a full PvE encounter, kind of like, Naxxramas, kind of like Black Rock Mountain. I think Ice Crown has to be that. So this is the lead-in for that. So that's why it has to be like something a little bit different. Also, because of the way that the interface is set up, I don't believe it'll be a new type of play mode, as some people may suggest. People think it might be like tournament mode, something like that. I think that's unlikely. Um, I think if they're going to add some kind of play mode, they might just heavily reorganize, readjust the way ranked play works, because the rewards in ranked play and the way ranked works is just kind of, not really that good. And it's just a way they could very significantly improve the game, because a lot of people want to play ranked, but they're not rewarded for it, and it's a grind, and it's just tedious. And there's a lot of things that they could do to improve that, but again, I'm not too sure that they'll go in that direction. I think the direction that they'll go in is they're going to probably make some way where you can experience PvE content on a regular basis. This is something that I praised Blizzard for when they introduced Naxxramas, because what was really lacking from this game compared to all the other Blizzard games is that the PvE content is fairly low. In quantity and in quality. Like, back then you just played against practice mode, which is basically a waste of time because you didn't learn anything. Since then, we've had like Naxxramas and Blackrock, and that's kind of made the experience, there's been more of it. The quantity has improved, but you don't experience it on a regular basis. So that's kind of taken away. And the reason this is important is because a lot of people who play Blizzard games just play that type of style. World of Warcraft was a PvE game. A lot of people, their highlights of, other Blizzard games is actually the PvE experience. So I think with that and the fact that Argent Tournament in World of Warcraft was really like a push for like gear and cool new quests, I think we might see like some kind of like quest mode within the practice mode. I think that's somewhat likely. Maybe to, get special cards on certain days, maybe to just revolutionize the daily system. Dailies are just a really good idea overall. The implementation in Hearthstone right now is fairly weak because they don't actually require you to log in every day. So they might have those kind of incentives in place because, it's cool, you get stuff, and it gets people addicted to the game, which is, three things that Blizzard really wants people to do when they play their games. That it's something they've really done in as many games as they could have so far. So that's my guess. Death Knight, maybe. New cards, maybe, but well, okay, there's almost certainly new cards, but I don't think there'll be that many of them. I don't think it'll be like GVG style. I think we're going to see some kind of new or altered play mode that will either pin players against each other, with each other, or like against the environment, but in some like new creative way. I don't think it'll be like some very competitive way or anything like that. I don't think it'll be tournament mode. And I think it will be a clear lead-in to Ice Crown. So, yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I don't imagine news will be too quick. They usually wait for like a big event to really, announce and show people what's going on. So that might be a little while away. But yeah, all the expansions, all the content so far from Hearthstone has been great. So I expect nothing less, and neither should you. Hope you guys enjoyed the game so far. Hope you guys enjoyed my review of the situation in the next upcoming expansion. And, well, we'll see if I'm right. For now, hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.